guys, just a few technical difficulties our end, so apologies for that. So let's give this another go. We're with Stevie Worrell and Max Frick. We've just obviously seen the meeting on Facebook from Speedway Great Britain, the Bellevue Aces versus the Poole Pirates. What an amazing meeting that was. Guys, it's great to have you with us. Tell us a little bit, first of all, how are you guys doing? I mean, it's been a little bit of an unconventional start to the season for us all, hasn't it? Max, how's it been going your end? It's great to see you looking so well, and we sure are missing you at the National Speedway Stadium, but how's things been going?
Yeah, everything's been going good. I can't complain too much at the moment. Unfortunately, I'd like to be riding my Speedway bike right about now, but, for what's going on at the moment, we're pretty good. We're in a good spot. Still have a little bit to do and just carrying on with training and waiting for a little bit of news and hopefully good news, really. So to see when we can start.
Absolutely. What about you, Steve? How's things been going with you?
Similar, really. Just waiting. Passing time. Main thing is trying to stay focused with training and things, because obviously this time of the year now, you tone it down really when racing starts. But without turning a wheel yet, we've got to try and stay on the ball and obviously train as hard as we would pre-season. So it's just trying to focus on that, keep me busy.
Yeah, it's all we can do really at the minute. But good to see that Speedway GB have been keeping people entertained. We've been keeping people entertained on our Facebook page as well. We've just seen that meeting there, the Bellevue Aces versus the Poole Pirates. You guys featured heavily in that team. Max, some amazing racing from you there. Steve, what was it like to get one over your twin brother Richie in that heat number 8? What a ride that was.
To be honest, I haven't watched it myself.
Oh, Steve.
No,
What were you doing?
I've been busy. I've watched that heat where I passed him. That was nice. But Richie struggles around Bellevue. He's a big lad, and
Oh, bless him.
he's a bit too big for Bellevue. So I think another track. It might have been. I might have had my work cut out, but we got rid of him pretty quick.
No, he certainly gave you a run for your money, though. And Max, as ever, very strong around the National Speedway Stadium. We've enjoyed seeing quite a few of your antics on our Facebook page since we got told we were in lockdown. That one in particular, the famous Somerset Rebels Heat number 13 performance. Tell us a little bit about that. What was going through your mind when you were making those moves? Did you think you were going to get him on the line?
To be honest, it's not really something I think about in that situation. When I'm racing at the time, it's all about trying to get to the front and always looking for opportunities to pass or overtake, and wherever there's gap or wherever there's room. So I think I'm more concentrated at the time on trying to find those areas a little bit more speed from different places, and for that race in general, trying to keep building my momentum and wait for an opening, which, on that last lap it did. Jason dropped back down to the inside and I was able to get a good run around the outside. So, maybe you can call it a little bit of luck at the same time, but, it made for a good race. So that's
I don't think I've ever heard Nigel Pearson scream quite so loud on the commentary, but, it was an epic ride, Max. And, we're certainly looking forward to potentially seeing you back at the NSS, maybe for the Speedway of Nations as and when it's restaged. What do you think?
Hopefully, you'll have to speak to the boss, Lemtech, about that one. But
well, we're hoping he's going to join us at some point, aren't we? We had a few technical difficulties with the boss, but yes, hopefully we'll be quizzing him.
Yeah, but Bellevue as a track, it's somewhere I enjoy. It's a nice place, and I feel right at home there. So hopefully I'll be able to get back there at some point throughout the year. Once all this blows over and possibly for Speedway Nations, so that would be pretty cool.
Fingers crossed. And you, Stevie, as well. I know that you're hankering after getting back into Team GB, maybe. What kind of aspirations have you got then for the world stage this year, potentially? Are you looking to maybe try and impress the GB bosses?
Yeah, obviously. I've been at that level and been involved with it in the past, and obviously it's something where you aspire to get to. You want to be back there, and I think what helps me, I've been there, so I don't see a reason why.
Can I just interrupt you, Steve? I think we might have Mark Lemon with us after some technical difficulties. Mark, are you with us now? Can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah.
Hello, guys.
Hello, he's
Hey.
there. We have the boss. Welcome to our broadcast. Nice to have you. We've got over those technical difficulties,
Unfortunately,
so
I can't hear them.
good to see that. Did he just say he can't hear us again?
Yeah, I think so.
Mark, I'm just going to drop you from the broadcast then if you're
seems
having
okay.
trouble from hearing us. So, Stevie, as you were saying, you've got some aspirations to go for Team GB again this year. Just pick up from where you were previously.
Yeah, so obviously having been part of it in the past, you kind of think, well, why can't it happen in the future? You know, and that's what helps you train towards them goals. You know, it's obviously a big thing for me. Also, with it being at Bellevue this year, even more so. You know, one of my plans is to try and hit the ground running. You know, make a big impact at home at Bellevue, and yeah, hopefully impress the management in GB and get the opportunity to do it.
Absolutely. Well, with rides like the one we've just seen in the broadcast from Speedway GB, I'm sure if we can and will get back on the track this year, fingers crossed you can impress them. Let's have a quick chat about that meeting. I know that it was last year, but it was quite an epic race. I mean, heart-wrenching for you guys though, because you went from being 14 points up to having a draw, Max. That must have been heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's not something you ever want to see happen. Unfortunately, you would like to think with a 14-point lead we'd have quite an advantage, but these things happen. That's how quick Speedway can turn around. It's a couple of good races from the other team, and you're right back to level playing field. So it can happen really quick, and unfortunately, on that night it did. But you got to pick up the positives from every meeting. Try and look at the positives wherever you can, and not really dwell on the negative side of things.
Absolutely. And Stevie, for yourself, I mean, Poole Pirates stealing points from us, that's not something we want to make a habit of, especially this year, as and when the season gets underway. It's all about making that National Speedway Stadium a fortress for the Bellevue races, isn't it?
It is, but that's just it's really tough to do so because it's such a good track, such a good racetrack. It's always prepared so well. Everyone loves coming to there, and that's the thing what makes it so hard for us because it is such a good track. But like you say, that's one thing we really have to work on. Just try and obviously create something within our team where we can gain an advantage as a 7, and not let the scoreline turn around like we did that day.
Absolutely. Let's just check in with Mark. Mark, if you can hear us, can you give us a nod? Nope, still can't hear me. So we'll plod on. You can hear me now, Mark. So I'm going to add you back in if you can hear me. Let's bring Mark into the broadcast. You okay, Mark? Can you hear us? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, let's hide Mark away for a couple of seconds. As we were saying there, obviously, very, very important to keep the home track, the fortress, so to speak. But away form, I mean, you guys know it is key, isn't it? It makes all the difference. An extra point here, an extra point there, from away tracks makes the difference in a league title pursuit.
Yeah, I think over the course of the season, every team needs to be looking at trying to pick up as many points as they can away. And hopefully you have a fortress of a home track. You don't lose any league points there. But as an overall team point of view, if you can, pick up a point or two away, it makes a big difference. So to build a team that's not only strong at home, but has the potential to do it away, then you have a really good team, and you should be in the position for playoffs.
And absolutely, Stevie, I'm sure you echo those thoughts there.
Yeah, a key thing is having a set of reserves that can pull the weight. So obviously, if there is one guy struggling top end away, maybe the track's not suited to them, or for whatever reason, you've got 2 guys at reserve who can pick up the pieces, and that's a key part of it, I think. And obviously, the way the team's been built this year, with them, well, at the moment we've got Guy and Jamin down at reserve, so I think that they'll be a key part of it. Them away meetings, if for whatever reason one of our top 5 is is struggling, maybe doesn't like the track, or like we had a few cases of that last night. Like certain guys can't get round, I don't know, Wolverhampton or whatever. You know that there's always someone there to turn that around. So I think if grand scheme of things, if one guy's having an off night, you know, their job's there to pick up the pieces. And I think that looking at the team for this year, it should be working well in our favour. No, and I think once we get going, we shouldn't have any problems away. I don't think anyway.
Fantastic. Well, I think it looks like we might have been able to retrieve Mark Lemons, so I'm going to pop him into the feed now. Fingers crossed it's third time lucky. Mark, are you with us this time?
Hey, good evening, guys.
Hey, there he is.
The boss is with us at last. Oh, bless those technical difficulties, Mark. We've just been having a chat, obviously, myself, Max, and Stevie. Epic meeting we watched tonight on Speedway GB. Tell us, what have you been getting up to then since you've been locked down in quarantine like the rest of us?
Well, the common description for isolation in Australia is known as ISO. So I've been in ISO for the last week or so. Been quite frustrating. I think we have sympathy with everybody else out there that we must stay at home and abide by the government guidelines and do the right thing. So hopefully we can get on top of this dreaded situation. And obviously we have a lot of sympathy and heartfelt feelings go out to all the people that are sort of being struck down by it. But hopefully we can do what the government say and it will settle down and we can sort of, fingers crossed, get back with some normality and hopefully see some racing pretty soon. But other than that, not a lot.
No, there isn't much we can do, is there? But still positive, vibes and thoughts going out there that we will see some Speedway this year. We've missed some great meetings so far, but do you think it's just sort of building people's appetite, sort of maybe, so that when we do eventually start to race, they'll be coming back in droves, you hope?
Oh man, I've watched all the world finals from bygone years, and I've been watching Speedway Grand Prix, which all sorts. And like obviously sitting down watching that tonight, I just missed like the racing around the National Speedway Stadium. It's obviously it's out of this world. Looking from a different perspective when the pressure's not on, you can enjoy it a lot more. But I can see why the fans flock down to the stadium to come see the aces. Some cracking races. Wasn't the result that we really wanted to see, but those, like mentioned, I think in the press conference, those small margins are so critical in sporting events, and none were so that particular afternoon. The Pirates got the rub of the green on the night, and obviously we had won that match. That probably would have put us in the playoffs, but ifs and buts, that's what makes Speedway very exciting. So I think with everybody else, we just wanted to go and smell that methanol and see the boys in action again.
Absolutely. I'm sure these guys second that. They're itching to get back on their bikes. Just a quick hello to everyone who has joined us. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Glad you enjoyed the racing. Glad you're enjoying our live broadcasts, technical difficulties aside. So, Max, we can't obviously have you with us without mentioning the GP series. Not exactly the start you were, imagining for your GP career, but are you looking forward to getting on the world stage on a permanent basis?
Yeah, I've had a bit of a taste over the last couple of years, and it's nice to be a part of it full time this year. I can plan for things a little bit better, and I'm in a good place. So hopefully, once all this clears up, we can get back to going racing and be back to business as usual. But unfortunately, it's a bit of a strange start. But I'm sure soon enough we'll be able to get over all of this, and we'll be laughing about it in the future.
Let's hope so. Stevie, you've been having a chat with the GB boys, as we know. Is there any secrets you can share with us exclusively on this Facebook Live, maybe?
Yes, Steve. What have they been up to?
They did a Zoom. We had there was 21 people in there. We was chatting through there. I think they had a bit of a program set up where we could look at slides and different things. Just trying to help us. Obviously, it's such a difficult time. We can't train properly. We can't go to the gym. We can't ride. Scared of going outside. There's it's difficult time. So they're just trying to help us. Give us ideas of things to do and things to think about. and then we did a bit of a workout all together, which was pretty cool. You know, quite good to see everyone else working. So yeah, it was really good.
Has anyone tried out that exercise you've been seeing going around on Facebook where you pour the washing liquid on the kitchen floor and use it as like a treadmill? Have they suggested maybe doing any of that, Team GB or Team Australia? Have you guys given that a try?
Yeah, Lemo's. That's what Lemo's been sending us. That's our Team Australia training regime.
Oh, 15, nice one, Lemo.
15 minutes
Max,
with the washing liquid.
Quiet, Max, come on.
Oh, giving away trade secrets there, oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, obviously, as we know, the Speedway of Nations, we've touched on this a minute briefly, Mark, whilst you were trying to log in with us. Disappointing that has been postponed, but the key word being postponed. It hasn't been cancelled in any way, shape or form. So we are confident, are we, that this will be restaged a little bit later in the year and it will still be at the National Speedway Stadium?
Yeah, we've been busily working, obviously, you know, Bellevue cap on and Team Australia cap off. But, you know, with Adrian Smith and BSI and the FIM and the ACU and obviously the BSBA, trying to establish a restaging date. So we've been working very close with them and you know, that will be sort of you know, let out in due course. But, you know, it's very delicate. You know, obviously we've got to coordinate everything around it. You know, it's just not one body. We've got to work with the Manchester City Council, who have been fantastic, you know, and obviously the basketball centre next door. There's a lot of pieces of the jigsaw that have to be put together for this to come together. So that's all been going well. We're pretty satisfied now. So it's over to BSI to make those announcements in due course. But yeah, not just the Speedway of Nations. You know, obviously, you know, the British final is obviously in doubt. We're going on June the 22nd. There's, you know, the under-21 World Championship semi-final. We're hosting here. That's obviously in doubt. So there's so many more things that we're sort of waiting to hear whether we can run or we can't run. So rescheduling the fixtures. Are we going to see, you know, 2 home, 2 away, 1 away? You know, we just don't know. We just got to keep sort of, you know, ticking over every week and work out what we can and can't do and come up with as a win. It's a bit like, you know, for a rider that's been injured. You know, they're so eager and wanting to get going, and they're grinding away trying to get fit again, but they're not allowed to go back racing because they're not physically capable. So it's very frustrating, you know, to be in this situation. But you know, I think everyone has sort of accepted it, and it's just how we manage it. And it's like, you know, we got to make decisions on our goal, not our situation. So I think that's what we've got to keep focused with.
Absolutely. I know a couple of the lads, the foreign lads, have actually gone home for just temporarily. Max, are you still in the country with us, or are you back in Australia?
I'm still in the UK at the moment. You know, for me, I think it was best to stay here. I'm here already. Hopefully, once some borders open up and things like that, I'd like to get back to my place in Andorra. But for now, traveling is not exactly so easy. So for now, I'm here in the UK, and you know, we have a pretty good setup here anyway, so it's all right.
Absolutely. Just a quick one. We had a comment from Jean saying, "Max, give us a wave." Can you give us a wave, Max? There you go,
Hi,
Jean. Max is waving. Good stuff. So tell us, guys. I mean, you know, you've said it's very difficult to keep up with your training regimes, your diets, and everything that is going on. So, what kinds of things have you been getting up to? You know, what have you been doing to pass the time while you've been in quarantine, Stevie? I mean, I'm sure you've got plenty to occupy yourself with too. Lovely young kids. Have they been keeping you occupied? I'm sure every waking moment.
Pretty much, yeah. From about 6:30 in the morning.
Wonderful.
No, we try and have a little schedule with them, so they'll do the PE in the morning, or Primrose as a ballet thing, and then Annie will do all the. Well, she tries.
Sorry, Stevie. Carry on, Stevie. Sorry, I had a bit of a glitch there.
Annie will try and do. She tries to have a little schedule with them to do some schoolwork, you know, just to keep on top of it all. Yeah, try and squeeze some training in between that, and then it's been nice. So we've been able to get outside, which is pretty cool. We can get in the garden and play, and yeah, it's all right. We're busy all the time because they just don't stop. We've been baking. I've had 4 banana loaves now. taking.
Oh, bless you. Just to quickly interrupt you, Stevie, stay with us. We can only have 4 people on the stream at the moment. It looks like we might have Dan Bealey trying to join us. So stay with us, Stevie. We'll bring you back into the broadcast in a moment. I'm just going to invite Dan Bealey to have a quick chat with us, if we can. So, Dan, can you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There he is. Dan Bewley's with us, ladies and gents. So we can only have 4 people on the broadcast at any one time. So thanks for joining us, Dan. Tell us, what have you been getting up to then? I noticed you were on your bike getting a bit of exercise this afternoon when we spoke.
Oh, not too much. Just trying to keep busy. Yeah.
So you're not doing the disastrous haircuts while we're in quarantine thing, by the way. No, Kyle Bickley got on board with that. He shaved
I
all
don't
his
think
hair
there's
off.
too much chance of that happening anytime soon.
Not a fan of that, to be honest.
No, you tried it a year ago or so, didn't you? You tried the whole sides shaved off. It didn't go so well, did it?
No, mine looked good. I don't know.
That was the best bowl cut I've ever seen.
Good for me.
The best, but I love it, Max.
I don't know if Max is there, but he loved it, I think.
Yeah, I was a big fan.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, you were pitting next to each other, weren't you? You had to. You've gone quite the opposite direction this year, Dan. I don't think I've ever seen your hair quite as big.
Yeah.
That happened when you were out in Australia. Was it the sun that made it grow?
No, I don't think I've had my hair cut since the start of last season. So,
you're on a mission to see how long you can get it.
Well, I didn't want to lose my speed. I didn't have any, so I didn't want to lose what I had. So,
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Then the secret to Dan Bewley's speed is in his hair. Well, you don't want to lose that, Dan. So that aside, there. I mean, what have you been doing to keep yourself occupied since we've all been in quarantine? Have you been able to get out, do a little bit of training? Have you been able to do any exercise?
Yeah, trying anyway. I wouldn't really say I was training or anything. Just getting out and having a bit of fun. Just riding push bikes and stuff, and just riding little kids' motorbikes. Trying to, I don't know, just fun really. It probably is good training, but it's more just I enjoy it. So.
Yeah. Richie Worrell's just commented saying you look a bit cold, Dan. Are you sat in the garage at the moment?
Yeah, I had
Stevie's laughing away in the lobby there. Oh dear. Well, I mean, you are in Cumbria, I suppose. But I mean, looking at where we currently are, there. I mean, it must be so frustrating for you as a rider, as I'm sure it's for Max and for Steve, getting all pent up for the season, and then finding yourselves having to just sort of, come down off that high. I mean, how did it feel being on the bike and then all of a sudden being told, oh, actually, we can't go racing for a good couple of months?
Yeah, it was real weird. Like it didn't really feel real, to be honest. Like I kind of not joked around, but it's like even at press day was like, oh, will we be here next week? We'll be riding on Friday. No one really took it seriously or anything, and then all of a sudden, everything just stopped, and that was the season kind of over.
Oh, good. Mark, I mean, it must be for yourself, for Adrian, for the club on, not just.
Was that a cat?
Was that a cat, Dan? Have you got a cat in there?
Yeah, he's watching.
Oh, bless him. What's his name?
Ben, but he's had a
Ben?
few name changes.
Oh, lovely. He's beautiful.
I think his camera shy, he turned away then. So.
Oh.
Looks like he's hungry.
But Mark, as we were saying, I mean, obviously we've just said to Dan and Max, of course, and Stevie about how we've built up and built up and built up to the season. The club has built up to the season, not just for the racing, but also on a commercial side. And all that work that we've crammed in over the winter now put on hold, that must be equally frustrating for the management as well.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of worse for them, I would say, because
Dan's chimed in there. That one was for Mark, actually, Dan. But if you want to carry on,
crack on, Dan.
What happened? Sorry.
I was aiming that one at Lemo there, Dan. But you've
same
jumped
for
in.
the riders was this for the club.
There was more people on it.
A lot of hard work goes into the season.
Apology accepted.
Whether it's a mechanic or a rider, a club, a manager, there's so many things that need to be put in place. But you touched on the commercial side of things. We've got a new team sponsor in Bite Right. They've been fantastic. They were with us last year. They've come back and they're fully on board with us. So that we're really grateful for them to be with us. Obviously, Richard Cotton from Rent Truck, being the prime sponsor for a number of years, and he's still with us as a strong partner. ATPI, the travel guys, they've just done a wonderful job with all our travel arrangements, and I know they fly these boys across the globe, week in, week out during the season, and they've just been great to stay on board with us. And obviously, the Cool Runnings that sponsor the Colts, and we have Thornycroft, another partner, the solicitors that have been stuck with by us, and Taurus, our top class security guys at the stadium. So we had a lot of people to thank, to make this all part of the show. We've got this great stadium, but we need some really big sponsors and partners to sort of make it all tick by. So these are all these little things we have to do, and we've got them nice and displayed in prominent places, and we're very grateful. So yeah, that's just part of it.
Absolutely. Well, Dan looks like he's carving some carrots there, Dan, or are you, what on earth are you doing?
No, I've got this stand and I broke it.
Tinkering away in the garage there, bless him.
Been buying any motorcycles lately, Dan?
For some reason, I don't think Dan can hear myself or Lemo.
All right.
Dan, we're going to pop you in the lobby. I'm going to bring Stevie back into the feed, so do stay with us, my dear, for a couple of seconds. I'll pop you in there. And we'll bring Stevie Worrell back in to the broadcast there. So it's great to hear from Dan. We'll have another quick chat with him in a few moments' time. I am conscious of the time. We've certainly had a good old chinwag while we've been on air. Just finally then, before we wrap up, because I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. So, Max, as far as the season itself is concerned, as and when we do start to go racing, what will be your main goal? Is it still the same as it was, or has it had to change along with the situation?
I think for myself, my goals have all stayed the same. I've got, plenty of league commitments. Obviously not at Bellevue this year, but, on the continent. So, I need to be putting in, week out, doing my job there. But then I also have the added series with the Grand Prix this year, which is going to keep me really busy. And, over the course of this year, I have the whole series to be part of, and hopefully I can, be consistent enough and, be in a good position come the end of the championship. At the start, it's all about, seeing where we're at, and hopefully I can build from that and, make sure I'm in a good position to finish strong over the course of the series.
Fantastic. And Stevie, for yourself, you are taking over the captaincy of the Bellevue races from Max this year. He did a fantastic job while you were with us, Max. That's now been passed over to Stevie. You don't think there's much pressure? Well, I don't want to say there's much pressure on your shoulders, but you don't feel any added pressure being captain. What kind of things do you see for this team again, as and when we go racing in 2020? Where would you like to see this team end up?
At the top.
Good answer.
No, that's it. I think I've touched on it a few times. Well, I've touched on it a lot of times. The way it's being built is very clever. Every single person who's in their position. Every person who's in their position is very strong, and if the team reshuffles, it's still just as strong. It doesn't really have a weakness in my eyes. So I think that's another thing. It'll be an easy team to try and be the captain of. A young team, all great group of friends, and 50% of winning a meeting is the atmosphere in the pitch. How well the team get on. In my eyes, that's what I think anyway. If everyone's getting on really well, you're all riding really well. You go out there, and it's just like Edinburgh 2014 with Max. How good was the atmosphere in the team that year, and they won everything. And it speaks for itself. So I think it's an easy team to look after. I won't have my work cut out, that's for sure. But if we get going, or when we get going, hopefully it won't be too much longer. But I think that we'll be near the top.
Absolutely. Well, good answer there, Stevie. Fantastic.
If not,
fantastic. If not at the top, well, absolutely, yeah. Good answer. Mark, over to you. I mean, we'll wrap this up in a short while. We'll bring Dan back in just to say bye-bye to the fans as well. Have a last quick chat with him. Mark, listening to what Max has said, obviously he's been with us for years and years. He's now moved on to the GP. Hearing Stevie's plans and hopes for this team this year, that must instill a sense of pride in you to see these young guys are, love this club as much as we do. They want to see them succeed. And even Max, who's not riding with us, is still, vying for them to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, Max has obviously been a part, of the Bellevue as long as I've been sort of there on the management side. So it'll seem strange this year without Max. But, in a kind of sense, Max's, development and success has maybe done us a little bit of a favour, as much as I would love to have him back in the team. He had a big average, which takes up a large chunk of the building side. And that sort of made us give us a balance this year, where I can sense, there's so much improvement in, probably 1 to 7 instead of just a few guys, because you've got your number ones and your number 5. You just want them to bang in their points to their average and their ability. Where I see a lot of growth in this team, and bringing Charles Ryder, and I think he's on the verge of some big sort of scores and consistency. And Brady alike, and as we just watched in the meeting, how good was Brady on that particular day. So one of the reasons why we jumped in and signed him. But even young Jai down at the bottom end, it's just like he sort of really established himself last year at Berwick, riding at number 5, which is quite a difficult position to ride in the championship, and so he will have progressed as well. So it's great to have him back. But I like the look of it, but at the end of the day, it's been a long time between drinks between Bellevue winning the league, and so there's a lot of work goes involved to winning these things, and we're prepared to do that. So it's I'm happy with the guys, and I'm really looking forward to it. We just like the rest of it, we're just eager to go.
Fantastic, Mark. Thank you so much for that. Let's just see if I can get hold of Dan again. Dan, are you there with us? Can you join us back online? I think he's still. Oh wait. Oh, there he is. Right. Max, I'm going to release you from the feed, my dear. Thank you so very, very much for joining us tonight. Best of luck in the Grand Prix. We will be keeping an eye on you. And I do hope you can join us again for our Facebook Live. So, Max Frick, thank you very much.
Thanks very much. I hope to be down at Bellevue as much as possible this year. I hope to come by and watch every now and then and keep an eye on the boys. So
good stuff.
I'll see you guys soon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Max. Take care.
Hey, Max.
We'll bring Dan Bewley back into the feed now. Here he is, Dan. So good to have you with us. Did you manage to fix your stand?
Glue's just drying. We're getting there.
Good stuff. I think we've only got about 5 minutes left on this feed before we will. Guys, one last question for you, Dan. We've just heard from Stevie, his aspirations for 2020. We've heard from Mark. What about yourself, as and when we get racing? What would be your overall goal for 2020? Is it the same as it was when we first started, or has it had to change along with the situation as we're in at the moment?
Yeah, it's just kind of, at the minute I don't really have any, to be honest. It's just kind of just want to get going again. I'd say that's just the goal, just to start going again. So we don't really know what the plan is, so that would just be for me, just hopefully we can start.
Question from me, Dan, are you going to do that Facebook Live that you've offered to do for me?
Yeah, you've given me a date and everything. So
good man. So I've booked you in. Stay tuned for that one, folks. Stevie Worrell, Jai Etheridge says he can't wait for you to be his captain this season. So good for you, Jai. Nice to hear from you. One last question for Lemo before we wrap it up is coming from Jason. He said, has Mark Lemon had a few laps around the NSS, and does he wish he could have had that as a home track when he was riding? Mark, what do you reckon?
Well, no, I haven't had the chance to ride around there. I feel like I'm just carrying too much timber to even look half fast around that place. So I'd love to. Obviously it's an awesome racetrack. I watch these guys, but I've had my time in the sand, so it's these guys now. But maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us on Facebook. And guys at home watching, thank you so much for joining us. If you did enjoy this, do let us know, because we'd love to know if you'd like us to do it again in the future. And don't forget, this Friday, we do have our usual live lunch hour. Jai Etheridge will be joining us from 12 o'clock till 1 o'clock, so make sure you save up your questions for him. Stevie, Dan, Mark, and Max, who has already left the broadcast, and to you guys at home, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Guys.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Waltons, isn't it? All right, John Boy.
Bye.